Welcome to John Sequitur, a show about everything.
Welcome to John Sequitur. There's a lot of people here today. I am John.
Am I M still?
That's your choice.
I'm M.
All right. Did you come up with a nickname for yourself?
No, I'm the only one without a nickname. I'm
Bumbleberry.
Lindsay.
Bumbleberry. You need to listen. I came up with mine immediately, and I feel great about it.
It's a good one.
Jay. Weak.
Sorry. Today we're going to talk about cults.
Farmville.
Maybe you did get that loud at one point.
No, god damn it, no. I told you no.
Was that the other
Is
option for
Farmville
today?
a cult?
It kind of felt like it at the time.
You brought up Juggalos, and I hope that you've come prepared.
I didn't.
Oh,
I mean, I like the ICP, but...
man.
I just took notes like 2 minutes ago.
That sounds right. I pulled mine up on Wikipedia just now.
See?
There you go.
We're getting lazier as a group.
I didn't know
I'm gonna go
till
listen
today
to
that
all
we
the
were supposed to
cards
be
real quick.
choosing one to talk about. So I thought we were just going to have like a conversational thing about cults. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, take that, everybody.
Yeah.
And unleash it on you the day before.
Actually, the day
Don't
of.
forget to read the description of the show. We don't know anything about the topic.
That's true. Em, you know some
What?
stuff, right? Do you know stuff?
No, you're supposed to ask questions first.
Fuck me.
He did. Do you
See,
know
I
stuff?
gotta-
That is...
How many questions do you
He's
want,
right.
Em?
I did ask the question.
I'll write it
Do
out so you can
you
see the question marks.
know stuff?
Okay, I only know about one really cult, and that's Scientology.
Okay.
Okay.
And you're doing the Manson family.
Yep.
I'm doing Shinrikyo so I can mispronounce Japanese words and just embarrass myself.
There you go. I guess I would be more like on the theory of cults themselves and my one fun tidbit. But I'll save that for, my random stories. My random,
Yes.
yeah. I don't want to do it right in the beginning and just blow my whole cult wad.
I'm here for the tidbit.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Just the tidbit.
Just the tidbit? We'll just start with the tidbit. See how
So
far we
what
get.
is your theory about cults?
Not so much a theory. It's just as like the only. So when you look up like the definition of a cult and what makes a cult versus what makes a religion, the people that study this stuff, like religious, like
Theology.
yeah, those types of people, right? When they talk about it, the big joke amongst them even is cult plus time equals religion. So there's really a cult is just like a baby religion that like a lot of times they end up being violent and people end up dying and it's terrible and it's all this horrible shit.
Sounds
But,
like religion.
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like that's the big joke amongst those people is they're just baby religions that haven't made it yet. So
Something in common with religion and cults is that they usually have an end game too.
there's a lot in common with cults and religion.
Mhm.
Like a lot.
They love the apocalypse.
All of them do
It
too.
sounds like a good time.
The apocalypse?
If you're trying to sell your book, yeah, like I made this book, it's great, and we're all gonna die by
Yes.
it.
If you believe in the apocalypse, why are you trying to sell books? The money that you make from those books isn't going to really help you if the apocalypse is coming.
No, it's
In your life.
It's a vicious cycle.
You can take the money to heaven with you.
Well, I mean, if the apocalypse, if your idea is that happens
Eventually.
after you're dead, anyways.
Oh, so you get the money,
So
then you get the hookers, then you die.
3,000, year 3,000 it happens. Well, I'm not going to be around.
Right, I'll sell these books
I can
now.
still write the book, though.
I wouldn't need to join the cult until the year 2999 then.
But then
Part of the
humans
cult
naturally
is
have a
certain
need
people live forever.
to have meaning, to
See.
like find out
Let's just
what
start
is
our own
the
cult.
and what's coming, where did we come from?
Yep.
That's exactly what I said when I thought about doing cults. I said, we're just going to start our own cult. Is anybody else in?
So this actually touches on my fun
Depends
too.
Who is the leader of the cult? Who?
I don't want to.
See,
I got a lot going on.
that's a lot of work.
Listen, I feel like I could be the leader.
You have
Hardcore.
to wear a white robe, though.
I'm down with robes. 100% down with robes. I wore my bathrobe all day today.
I'm pretty sure we have one from.
Like literally, I took it off to come here.
It's in the car just in case.
I actually walked out of the house with my slippers still on. Had to go back in and put my shoes on.
You got your bunnies dirty?
No, they're still on the porch. I was like one more step, I'd have been off the porch. I was like, huh. Oh, I got them slippies on. Better go in. Put on the real shoes.
All right, Em, tell us about Scientology without getting us sued.
Can I say something else first?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna. So the
I like them.
I remember hearing a little tidbit that the difference between religion and a cult is what happens when you try to leave.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nah. All right. Well, keep going. I have an uncle.
So you figure, like, you go to the Methodist church or whatever,
Right.
and then you decide to stop going, and then maybe you run into a minister or something, and they're like, "Hey, you haven't been in church lately," and you're like, "Yeah, sorry, I'm going to a different one," or whatever.
Right.
And something like Scientology, you try to leave, and your life gets ruined.
I have an uncle that was born Amish.
Oh, I am obsessed with Amish.
Yeah, he was born Amish, and he ran away several times in his life. Once when he was, I think it was 14 or 15 was the first time, and he was younger. But they caught him, beat the crap out of him, basically. Like, you can't run away, you can't do this. Beat the crap out of him, made him come back.
Mm-hmm.
We ran away again when he was 16, 17, whatever. Caught him again, beat the crap out of him even worse. Like,
That
ended
would
up
really
in the hospital.
encourage me to come back.
Right?
Constantly
Yeah.
beat.
So happened again, and then the third time it finally took. It was like he was 17, almost 18, and they didn't catch him before he turned 18. So they're just like, good luck.
No, was he like shunned?
Yeah, oh yeah. He says his mom will still talk to him, and he has one or two sisters that. I mean, it's not like he calls them, right? They're on a phone, so like if he runs into them, they'll speak to him, but like
They're probably
nobody
not
else,
allowed.
nobody else will.
Mm-hmm.
He's got like, I mean, he's Amish, so like he's got like 38 brothers and sisters or some shit. So like, but his dad won't talk to him. Dad won't even like look at him, speak to him.
Mhm.
Nothing.
Did you ever hear the book The Crimson Stain?
Negative.
It's about a murder that happened. It was like one of the first Amish murders that the
Okay.
guy was tried for. It happened in Crawford County.
Crawford
County.
Yeah.
But the guy went like crazy, and the doctor could only give him what what do you call it, like the leader of the Amish community?
Oh,
Not the priest.
No, the
master omelet.
Yeah, it's the elder.
The elder. Yeah. Whatever the elder said that he could do, that's what they could do.
What?
No psych or anything like that. Oh yeah, he ended up like stomping his wife's head in.
What?
Fuck,
Yeah.
dude.
It was,
And they took him to prison?
yeah. The book's called The Crimson Tide. Crimson Stain.
Well, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't do anything.
Huh.
He went to a doctor, and they gave him, like, molasses or snake
Right.
oil.
Snake oil, yeah. Yep. Huh. Beach weed, beach nut oil, and yeah. I dislocated my elbow one time. My mom was like, chew on this root and suck on this leaf, and you need the feathers of it. I'm like, Mom, why'd you become a witch doctor? Like, they gave me Vicodin at the hospital. I'm fine.
crystals around your neck.
Yeah, she immediately turned into a witch doctor. Like,
Dude, if I'm beyond saving, but you want to feed me honey while I die, that's fine.
I like
I'd be
honey.
cool with that.
American honey would be better.
Oh, the beer?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just don't feel anything.
Liquor,
I'm a
yeah.
fan of
Liquor.
Vicodin. I'll take some of that.
right, yeah, I've never... Vicodin, it's not my go-to, but when I dislocated my elbow, I was all about it. So...
Thank you.
Okay, so, what question should I ask? Maybe I should be a better host.
We've been saying.
Well, I don't know much about the Manson family, so.
I'll go to her next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me something cool about the Manson family.
Not
Who were
cool,
they?
Not.
I'm sure no one has heard of them.
No, I've never heard
Like
of
the
them.
Bop thing?
Yeah.
Huh?
Bop a Dippin' Dots?
Oh, Hanson.
No. You're thinking. You're thinking the beautiful
Hanson,
people.
not Manson.
Oh. Marilyn Hanson, yeah.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
the
right,
one.
right.
I was
Okay.
gonna make a Marilyn Manson joke.
Too slow. Missed it.
You just talk over everybody else.
That's how you do it. Right, just be loud.
Get closer to the mic.
Whoever spikes this the most wins. Okay, so what was
Not the mic
What-
itself.
what did Charles Manson want from his people, followers? What was the goal of the cult?
Well, it started out, he had been in jail and like in and out of jail like most all of his life, over half of his life, before he got out in like 1967, and he went to San Francisco, and it was when the whole hippie movement was going on, and he started dating this woman named Mary Brunner, and eventually he like talked her into letting all these other women move in with him, and then they had like 18 women living there.
Sounds exhausting.
Oh my goodness, can you
Right.
imagine?
I don't like disappointing one.
My goodness. Can you imagine where
Was
the
it a
conversation
polygamy
went, though?
Well, partially, yes. I mean, only he was the one to choose, like, who was, like, having sex with who usually.
He's skipping a lot of
like,
steps
he got
in the cult
some
process, I
men
think.
into the
Oh,
cult,
yeah, he went
but
right
it
past
was
it all.
the majority of them were women.
Okay.
At one point, they had about 40 people living with them, but they weren't in San Francisco anymore at that point. They were at Spawn Ranch. Spawn Ranch. Which
Sounds like a ranch where you picked a lot of people to have sex.
It was actually an old movie set where they had shot like Bonanza and old shows like that. But now George Spawn lived there. He had owned the ranch, and they kind of talked him into letting them live there for free because he liked all of the young women
blind?
living there. And
So when they talk about
he
the
was actually blind.
when they talk about the Manson family,
Yeah.
like it's him,
Right.
and then all the women,
No, there were also men
Or were there, like-
too. The majority of them were women,
but they
there
weren't
were
his family.
They weren't his real family,
They were
but
his
he
followers.
created a family.
He called them like
They were
his
kids.
Manson
Yeah.
family. Okay.
Like, he didn't grow up having a close family. Like, he didn't really know his dad. His mom was a prostitute and went to jail when he was little. And, I mean, when he was
We've all been
born,
there.
he wasn't even given a name. He was given,
I
like,
thought she was
no
talking about
name
me.
on his birth certificate.
I'm sure that had
We've
no
all had
effect
a
on his
prostitute
future
grandmother.
at all, right?
Yeah. Huh. Well, that's pretty wild.
So he didn't grow up great, and he kind of, like, felt more at home in jail than he did outside of jail since he spent most of his life there. But,
Surround yourself by women.
Right, yeah.
Back to
The
the-
exact opposite of prison. Huh.
But for a while, things were not bad. Like, I mean, he had rules there, kind of, that they weren't allowed to have clocks, they weren't allowed to have books, and he kind of chose who was going to have sex with who, and they did a lot of psychedelics, but he would choose, like, how much each person would have.
Why did they follow him?
Because
The drugs, right?
well, he was very charismatic, and
So
he
he had to have been good with words. Like,
Right,
he had to.
yeah.
If you talk, you imagine talking your wife into, like, oh, we're going to invite 18 other women over. Just, see what happens. Like, what?
She was probably like, yeah. And he was like, all right.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I wasn't.
There
damn
had
it.
to been like something about like I don't know.
yeah, I mean, they called him, like, his...
This was the 60s, right? So everybody was high out of their fucking
Well,
mind.
and like, and
That's
also
every
like,
decade though. Just the '60s were
Yeah.
blatant.
Right.
That's true.
any
He was
of,
like their guru.
right, like any of these leaders,
Harper, you're not
they
in the
had to
podcast.
they had
Should
to
know.
speak well and have a message that spoke to people, and especially people that had not a lot of other connections.
Right, yeah.
Well, his
And a
message
lot of
was
these
about
people-
a race war, wasn't it?
Yes, he thought that there was going to be this big race war,
And he was going to kick it off.
Well, originally, no. He thought that it was just going to happen, and it was going to be the blacks against the whites, and he thought that the black people would win the war, but he's, like, racist, and he thought that they wouldn't be able to handle it once they would have power, so he and his family would be underground, and once the war was all over, they would come out and he would be the leader of everyone. So, he was pretty crazy, but
So
his
he had a
followers...
plan, but it wasn't
He had
like
a plan, but it was pretty crazy. And
Lots
since
of
it wasn't
holes.
starting, he thought he would get it started. And his followers thought he was like Jesus reincarnated, because he was always implying that kind of stuff, and he would talk all philosophical and get them thinking like, wow. And of course, they're all on psychedelics, and they're more
Which-
easily influenced by.
Which, how many people at the table have done psychedelic drugs?
Yes, I think probably most all of
Yeah,
us.
okay. All right.
Most.
So-
what qualifies.
Which, I mean, naturally, you're not gonna just like start
Sure,
murdering people, but when you're
Right.
like under the influence of somebody like him.
So this again touches on my tidbit that I
Talking
said
like
earlier.
Michelob Ultra.
Not does not count. So
$30.
every time, no, I'm not trying to. This no police officers listen to this, right? I'm gonna get arrested.
6 people listen to it. 5 of them are sitting right here.
Solid. Okay, so every time I have experimented with psychedelics, at some point in the night, I always feel like, at some point in the trip, I always feel like I could start a cult. Like, but it's not like, it has nothing, and maybe, Charles Manson did start the same way, and like, he had a good intention, and it turned into something obviously terrible, but I always feel very connected with nature, and very connected
Oh, yeah.
with, like, the woods, and like, the planet, and like, we're all one type thing, and I always feel like I could start I don't know if I'd call it a cult right out of the gate, but but I feel like I could start a gathering if there were other people around that were feeling the same way I was feeling, and I would speak to them about, you know, how I thought everything was happening, what was going on. I 100% feel like I could start a cult.
Hopefully yours would be a more positive
Oh
cult.
yeah, absolutely. Like, and every time I get in one of these moods, it's very, you know, we are all connected, and we all are all just trying to, you know, deal with the amount of years we have on this planet, because we don't know, you know, where we came from or what happens after.
Are you trying to do it right now?
Listen, for $39.99 every month, you can be a gold member. So, it's, I don't know, that's just the way I feel every time, and I just recently had that same thought. So,
well, with a cult leader, it seems like maybe they're in that headspace, but then like they take it from being high and thinking that to being sober and continuing to believe that.
yeah, see, I don't know, I've never had any, like, Maleficent, is that the word? Maleficent?
It's a movie.
What's the word? Malignant?
I think Maleficent is maybe what you're looking for.
I think
like,
it is. I've never had like a no, I can't even say it. Melissa.
That thing.
That thing. I don't ever have those types of thoughts. It's always about, you know.
Or malevolent, maybe?
Malevolent. There you go. That's the one.
Medieval.
Benevolent. Medieval. There you go. Turkey.
Magnetic.
M words. So I've never.
Ooh, I know another one.
Hit me.
Melanoma.
I've never had melanoma thoughts while doing it. It's always about being connected and about, like, nobody really knows. So, you know,
and that's what they seem to tap into, is like somebody's kind of like wanting to belong
to something.
to something.
Right.
Usually it starts off with something good. You know what I mean? Like the Scientology is always something good. It's a way to better yourself and, you know, strengthen your relationships, you know, stuff like that. It gets fucked up later on.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like even, what was the Children of God one? Was the original message was like, you know, nature and you know.
Stay the fuck away from technology. That was big.
Well, yeah. I mean, it turned into like a child sex ring. Eventually.
I just want a chance to plug Kathy Don't Go to the Supermarket.
That's all you
Do
want
you
to
know what
do.
that is?
No, but I'm gonna after
You
this.
need to play it. You can.
I'll look it up. You guys keep talking. I'm gonna play it into the mic.
So what is Scientology exactly? Like, I've heard of it, but I've never really, like...
So, Scientology, all of the members consider themselves Christians.
Okay.
But it was originally started...
Like, exclusively. Like, no, you can't be a Muslim and be...
You can be, I believe they say, you can be any religion, any background.
And also be a
and
Scientologist.
also believe in Scientology.
Here we go.
You have to watch the whole
Oh, yeah.
Okay. What is it? What is this?
It's a recruiting song.
For Scientology? No.
This is Children of God.
Oh.
They believed that people were going to put barcodes on people so that they couldn't buy with money anymore. And then the barcodes would all read 666 because the devil.
Oh, so this is a well thought out plan. All right.
yeah.
Anytime a sentence ends with "because of the devil,"
Yeah.
they're on to something probably.
Some of their songs though, like that, they're so catchy.
I know, you like sing the tunes all
Yeah,
the
and then
time,
I'm thinking to
right?
myself, these people are fucking awful monsters, but I'm also like,
Jamming out. Huh. All right. Well, if you guys don't mind, we're trying to do a podcast over here, me and Em.
Oh.
So what were you saying about Scientology? I'm trying to learn over here, guys. If you could just shut the hell up.
Okay, so Scientology was originally started by L. Ron Hubbard.
L. Ron Hubbard.
They call him,
Hey, Ron.
they call him LRH.
That's
Right?
his street name?
LRH. As a shortened way to
I
say
got
the
you.
name.
I got you. All right.
I'd have called him Hubbard. Can you imagine if there's a little what'd you say his name was?
LRH?
Yeah, if he had a son. Be like,
He does.
Little Hubbard out the cupboard.
and
And he like,
right.
I'm looking for soup.
he has a son?
He has several children. Actually, one of his one son committed suicide, I think.
Oh God, probably because they knew who his dad was.
Well, there's one
Exactly.
less.
He's
less
crazy
son.
fuck, as most of these people are. But
Which makes sense.
Wasn't he just a failed science fiction writer?
he
that-
was
Yeah.
a failed everything.
Yeah.
He was
Oh,
a failed
Obviously a
everything.
failed father.
Say this. Tell us what you said in the car
What?
about
one
him
of us?
failing.
Oh,
Reverse.
he basically took everything he failed at and then turned it into a success. Like, he said he was like a decorated veteran
Right.
and all this stuff, and actually he was like discharged from the military, I think from the Navy.
Yeah, he had gotten 4 medals, but only ones that they give to every single person that was
Right.
involved, and he
Oh.
acted
Like a
he had
participation
20-some
medal.
medals. And he was,
You showed up. Here you go.
He said he cured himself of partial blindness, and his military records say he had conjunctivitis. just like nasty eye
You just had
infection.
goobies.
Yeah, goobies.
Yeah, he had eye goobies. Huh. He's basically Jesus Christ, right? He got rid of his eye goobies.
Right. He
Praise be.
failed out of several high schools. He failed out of college, and then later turned around and said he was a physics astrophysicist.
Yep.
Yeah.
This sounds like somebody I know.
Who?
Can't say. It's being recorded and it's going on the internet.
I'll bleep it. I'll bleep it. Just say it.
Oh my
I'll
God!
bleep
Can you
it.
really do that?
I do. Yeah.
Do you know him? Well, you know the Dunning-Kruger effect, right?
Dunning
That
Kruger.
sounds really familiar. Tell
No.
me.
Ooh.
It's like the more ignorant you are, the
you
more
believe,
confident
think
you
know.
are.
Yeah.
Like,
Dunning.
That's
you
what-
have no idea what you're talking about, but you're really sure you know what you're talking about.
Look at Parlor.
What's that?
Oh.
It's the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Parlor.
All the
Stab.
extreme right wingers decided that Facebook was blocking all of their information and keeping them from telling the truth. So they made their own social media site called Parlor.
It's an
because-
echo chamber.
It's taking off,
But
right?
what's really funny is they love it because it doesn't censor them. It's been censoring the shit out of people immediately. So,
Huh? Not the best business model there.
Anyways, this is not a political thing.
Not yet. Give it time.
we'll get there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, no, but I mean, everybody knows somebody that like thinks they're awesome, but they're
Oh,
an
yeah.
idiot. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
Yeah.
Everybody
Just
raise their
this side
hand.
of the table.
All the yeah. Listen, I would like.
Why
to,
were they all men?
I think it's a male thing. I really do.
Yeah. He was showing up to court and he was like drawing an X on his forehead.
Right.
And he did it and it was always in the same spot. And then he just one day
Every
lost the cut.
parole hearing that he had, he would act progressively more crazy,
Yeah.
which was great to watch. They were must-see TV when he would go on parole. Holy cow.
You have to be because with everything he did, you need to get protected at this point.
Yep.
You wanted to start a race war. You don't want to go to Gen Pop.
So,
Something that. Oh, sorry. You can go.
Okay.
Well, can I ask a question? Sure. So,
Guy.
Huh?
did he actually murder people, or did he have other people do
Supposedly,
it for
he
you?
did not murder anyone.
That's what I heard.
He
just-
did cut
just-
somebody's ear off, and then they murdered him after
Yeah,
that.
Van
After he
Gogh's.
gave them. Nope, not Van Gogh.
Well, we've all cut someone's ear off.
Van
That's
Gogh
not
cut his
big.
own
Master
ear
Shredders?
off.
Shredder. I don't think that is.
Splinter.
Splinter.
It was actually
Jesus
what
Christ.
was
I-
Mr.
Alright,
Pink.
Michelle, I'm moving out.
Pink.
Sorry, I have to
I
go.
have to go.
It was
Reservoir
sad, really.
Dogs.
This musician named Gary Hinman, who he allowed anyone that was kind of transient to be in his house to stay when they needed a place to stay, and they went to go
We're gonna be transient.
rob him because they thought he had a whole bunch of money, and he was like, "I don't really have all this money that you think I have." But they came back the next day with Charlie, and Charlie cut his ear off with a samurai sword.
Naturally, yeah.
And then he
like
left.
one.
Yep.
I would have followed him after that, I think. That would
You
have been too
think?
cool not to.
It would have been like,
Huh.
Thank you, Jay.
that was
Something that actually connects Charles Manson to Scientology. When he was in jail in the 60s, he got really into Scientology and he became a Scientologist, and he
What?
completed 150 hours of auditing, and then he decided that Scientology was too crazy for him.
Wow.
Oh, that could have been the ultimate power couple. Holy shit.
like auditing is basically counseling,
Right.
right? It's
Yeah.
like you talking about your problems, maybe working through it, maybe somebody suggesting something that might help, but yet they say psychology and psychiatry is bullshit.
Right.
It's so
weird.
Unless you get it through them.
Yeah.
Because it's
But-
brainwashing.
But at the same time, they're recording everything you say, and if you try and leave, they will take what you said and use it against you.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's interesting. There's more, but
Yeah, they want to
Tom
learn
Cruise is
things
a
to use
Scientologist,
against you if
oh
you
my
ever
god,
decide to leave Scientology.
he's the
Do you know who is
Scientologist.
not a Scientologist?
Who? Oh, Jason.
Jason
Motherfucking
Statham. Naturally.
Jason Statham.
Naturally.
I'd follow him anywhere.
Hey,
Me
would
too,
you-
man.
Man,
Me too.
I bet you he's at home eating a smoked steak right now.
What?
Probably.
It's because he's bald.
Are you cheating on?
The other guy? Who's the other guy? Stop! Who's the other guy?
Keanu Reeves.
Name? Twin Peaks, Titanic.
Oh,
Leo?
Leonardo
no. I know who you're talking about.
I can't think of his
He
name.
played the fucking Phantom. Billy
Billy Zane.
Billy
Are you
Zane.
cheating on Billy Zane?
With
Yeah.
Jason Statham?
With-
You
yeah.
better be.
Yeah, damn straight.
You better be.
No.
He's too old.
Does
Get
everybody
him
know?
out.
Does everybody know who Billy Zane is?
Yeah.
I have
Bald
no
now.
idea.
No, I can't
In
picture him.
Titanic, he was the guy who was like
Engaged to
The
Yeah.
abusive
Yeah.
husband.
being nice to
yeah.
Kate Winslet before the homeless transient
He
fucked her in a
wasn't
car.
nice.
Like I know that character existed, but I have no idea.
I bet you could throw the leg though, dude.
I mean,
right?
that's
Like-
one way to say
Hey, you were
it.
gonna be a transient.
Something like that. Huh. Mhm.
He was also in a
He
really
can't-
good
he
movie
can't
with
hear this, but he's
Nicole
gonna laugh when he
Kidman.
listens.
Oh yeah. It'll
You're
be in the
gonna laugh,
background.
John.
It'll be in the
You
background.
know I don't know the fucking name of things. Wait. There was this really good movie. Him, Nicole Kidman, a boat, Nicole Kidman's fiance.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
What the
about.
fuck is the name of the
what's it
movie?
called?
Okay, wait, which one's
Double
Nicole Kidman?
Jeopardy?
Give me another movie she's
No,
in.
that's,
I recognize the name, but I can't picture who it is.
Nicole Kidman?
Yeah.
Days of Thunder.
And some
Eyes
other guy.
Wide Shut. The Others.
Oh, the others, that was awesome.
I love the
Australian.
others.
Used to be married to Tom Cruise.
Right.
Just brought it around.
Yeah.
Right, full circle.
I have a Tom Cruise thing.
Wait, alright.
While you're
What's her
thinking,
name? What's her name?
Nicole
Top
Kidman.
Gear, the British version.
Top Gun?
Top Gear,
Cool.
the
Top
car,
Show.
the car show,
Yeah.
the car show.
Sorry.
Tom Cruise,
Oh, yeah, I know
Tom
who she
Cruise
is.
and Reese Witherspoon are on Top Gear, and every time Tom Cruise went to
Big
talk,
Little Lies?
Jeremy
Is that
Clarkson
the
Yeah, she's
would
in
lean
a
around
show
so he didn't
called
have to
that.
listen to
The
Tom Cruise, and he'd
Others
start
on
asking
show.
Reese Witherspoon
Aquaman.
questions.
I don't know who she's
I
on.
think that's who it was. I think it was Reese. But anyways, they completely ignored him, which was awesome to see because he
Yeah.
is so fucking smart.
He's kind of known as an asshole.
And how is he related to Tom Brady? Because I'm pretty sure he is.
They're both Tom. They're the Tom family.
Yeah.
They're both Toms.
Yeah.
I thought so. Like that.
That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. No, my first
Wait,
name.
what's your middle name?
I don't have
Anthony.
one. My first name is John Anthony. No middle name.
You're an NMM.
I don't know.
No middle.
I know what that is.
No middle name.
NMN.
No middle name.
No middle name.
No
He's
middle
sending me
name.
shit in the middle.
You know what? In the
Anthony's not
fucking
my
military?
middle name. I have
Not
to put a
military.
hyphen.
The government?
Put a hyphen in it.
We hate people like you.
That's alright. I don't know anything
Because-
about government, so.
Because people will put NMN and then some idiot before us
That's right before us.
will put N as their middle name.
Hey, yeah, hey, man.
Like their middle name was NMN.
Right, John Anthony Nimmin Amen.
I'm gonna tell you about Shinrikyo.
Wait, what's your middle name?
God damn it.
Thomas.
Thomas?
Ray.
You're not gonna get to
Ray?
talk this whole
R-A-E.
time.
Oh,
Is the very first few drop that was ever dropped said Hillary will be arrested in 3 days. It didn't happen, and everybody went, these people know what's up.
What?
Yeah, and then everybody was
That's,
like,
well, I mean, people keep watching the Weather Channel,
right.
and they're wrong every
The
time.
Weather Channel's a cult.
They're wrong a
Fucking
lot.
A, everything's
They
a
are
cult.
too, man. People
It's gonna be 75 and sunny. It fucking storms. Well,
Right,
I'm gonna
like-
check the weather for tomorrow now.
Yeah.
shit.
You
my
liars,
dad,
tell me what's going on.
my
Yeah.
dad's
You
in a
know.
cult.
Yeah, man. The weather is a cult.
He loves the fucking weather channel.
I can't stand it. I don't even watch it. I
All right,
don't.
shut the fuck up
Talk about.
and
Will
let me
you-
talk about
Are you
Shinrik.
talking-
I can't even pronounce it now.
Is that the
Lead
suicide
us,
No, I can't
John.
pronounce it.
Lead us.
Lead us. We are your devoted
Can we
On
take a
Shinrikyo.
stretch break?
I gotta pee.
And when we come back,
You guys.
Dude, you get 2 weeks off paid. Who doesn't want COVID?
right? I'd take it.
All right, talk to everybody you can at work for 15 minutes. That's the limit. You have to talk to them for at least 15 minutes. Talk to everybody. Get COVID. Go home.
Yeah, I stopped dropping shit off of people's
No,
mailboxes and take it straight to their fucking desks now. Put
Yeah.
my hand on their shoulder, breathe
Right.
in a little
Lick
bit.
their ears.
their face,
Yeah, see you later.
See you later.
You were gonna talk about.
You were going to talk about
Right.
something, weren't you? You have anything at all, John?
What do you want to talk
Doing
about?
so much.
You have anything at all? Is that what's going on?
No, I actually didn't bring anything.
I
this
didn't think.
time,
All right,
so-
let's move on.
Should we let him talk about it?
I don't think so.
No.
But it is formerly known as Om Shinrikyo. Now it is a left because everybody left. But you would know that if I would have been able to tell the damn story.
Well, we're all out of time. Thanks for listening.
All right, Shinrikyo.
Let's hear about it.
Hit me.
This fucking guy was born
I'm on the
his
edge of my
name?
seat.
blind in one eye and fucked up in the other eye so he could barely see.
What's his name?
Oh, god damn it.
Shin, right?
Shoko
Mike Tracer.
Asahara.
Shoko.
I know that's pronounced right. I heard his name 28 times.
Shoko. Say it again. I was.
Shoko Asahara.
Shoko Asahara.
Blind in one eye, fucked up in the other eye, right? Well, he goes to school and he ends up being pretty smart for...
Right, so he's
for a
basic-
second, he could have been a doctor.
Edit that out.
Edit what out?
Listen, if he was a cat, he would have hissed at you just then. I could see it.
Alright, so this motherfucker, he started getting people to follow him by going out in the street and just reciting Christian shit. But he also followed Buddhism and... Oh, I had it, but
I'm down with Buddhism.
Hinduism.
How long
Me too.
ago was this?
Yeah,
this was the 1970s and 80s. It was Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, Hinduism, Christianity. He mixed all of these different religions together to make this thing and people were following him in it. And then him and about 12 of his followers decided to run for office in Japan. Different senator offices and places like that. They all lost. All of them. They didn't come close.
Did they do a recount?
Yeah,
They should've done
one vote. You have one. Hang on, still one. One vote.
Oh,
So-
Jorgensen.
Right, there you go.
Exactly.
There you go.
So they got all pissed about this and decided the reason that they didn't want to win is because they knew the truth. And the truth was America was going to bomb them again. This was in Japan. They were like, America's going to bomb us again. We're all going to be dead.
I mean, no
jeez.
guarantee.
We need to start the apocalypse before they kill us so that we can lead people. They start experimenting with all these different gases.
Experiment gum.
Russia is helping them, and there are, to this day, still people from this cult in Russia. There's about 40,000 people left in the world who are part of this cult.
We're not making fun of you. Don't kill us.
Yeah.
I am. Bring it.
Go after him, not me.
Dude, they're in Russia.
But,
Fucking around.
They managed to get an attack helicopter, tanks, chemical weapons, all of this shit imported in from Russia, and nobody even paid attention to it at all. Then they went to Australia and bought this big landmass and started experimenting with the gases on different sheep and stuff to see what it did. One day, in 1994, these people were walking through downtown Tokyo. They start smelling something weird. They find out that the smell's coming from on top of a building, and they were using... What is that shit that was sent out in envelopes in 2001?
Arsenic?
No.
SARS?
God damn it.
It's an A word.
Yes. Anthrax.
Yeah.
Anthrax. They found out they were using some sort of anthrax in the air, but rather than arrest them, they just were like, "Hey, you need to vacate this building."
You gotta go home, but you can't stay here.
Quit murdering,
you punks.
They went back.
Right.
They started working on more
Your
stuff,
skateboards.
and eventually they got sarin gas.
Jeez. That's
They
serious business.
put it in little bags, and the leader told 7 people they were going to be the 7 men of the apocalypse and start the apocalypse by getting on a train and letting all of this gas go. So they all got on different trains, set the bags on the ground, all poked it with their umbrellas and left. People started getting sick, so they stopped the train. 12 people died. 6,000 people were injured. A lot of them to the point where they couldn't walk. And at that point, somebody who had previously arrested or kicked out the people who were on top of that apartment building with the anthrax put 2 and 2 together
Right.
and went and arrested this guy.
Makes sense.
So the cult kind of broke down at that point, but there were still people who were pissed about it and were trying to set off all of these chemical weapons. The triggers kept sticking over and over and over
So what happens
again.
when you buy Japanese, man? You gotta buy
They-
American.
These things would have killed up to 25,000 people each.
Shit.
But the triggers kept sticking.
Yeah, fucking.
So-
You need to get them American-made triggers.
You need American-made triggers.
You
Man.
need that
That's what it
Pittsburgh
is.
steel.
Eventually they hung the guy who ran the cult.
Hung him?
Hung him and 7 others.
Do they still hang in Japan?
They do, and it was 2000. It was
Yeah, I've never heard of the forest.
It was 2018 that they hung him.
Oh, the suicide forest?
And at that point, he had stopped talking to people since 2006. He didn't speak a word at all for
Sometimes
12
I feel
years.
like I could stop speaking.
Well, do you feel like you could also wear an adult diaper because you're no longer going to use a toilet? Because he did that.
You get the, I don't want the rashies.
Yeah,
Does
you know.
somebody
He
change
just
it?
spent
Yeah.
he spent 34
Somebody
minutes
changes
hoping
it?
he
Not
would
often,
stop
but-
speaking.
He basically just lived in his
You're
own
like,
shit in a prison
I hate
cell
talking.
until they hung him. After he
I
was
wish you didn't
hung,
have to do it.
some of the members took a truck and drove it off the top of a building onto onlookers in protest. They killed a couple more people with this fucking truck.
Wait, they drove a truck off the top of a building?
Yeah.
How'd they get the truck on the building?
I have no idea.
They
Remember,
stole
they had
that
a
helicopter.
helicopter, so it might have had something to do with it. How they got all of these chemicals, they had enough shit that if they had chosen to actually fight a war, they would have kicked some ass. But they chose to instead...
How did they get this stuff?
I bet you they got it from us.
No, they got it from Russia.
Oh, Russia.
They traced it right back to Russia. That's why,
That's
to this day, there's still people in Russia. It is now called, you just brought this up, the Elif
A leaf.
cult. They're spread out. A lot of them are in Russia.
I have it basically on my wall.
Oh, you're part of this shit. That's good.
Are you a member? That was going on? Do you wear the robes?
I have,
look
it's
Russian.
Like, it's
Russian.
like
It's probably a fur hat, right?
Nordic, thank you.
Nordic? Yeah.
Any more of these people in this
Same
cult
thing, it's
claim
cold.
they claim that it's real peaceful. They're not
They don't
out to
like
start a
heat.
doomsday thing or anything, but they are constantly watched by everyone in that, like every
You're the
law
fucking
enforcement.
sarin gassing people.
How do you not notice people bringing sarin gas into a giant compound with a fucking helicopter?
How do you not notice somebody bringing bags and bags of
Maybe.
guns and ammunition into
They
a
had that
casino
too,
in
by the
Las
way.
Vegas?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
Huh. That's pretty wild.
What's Vegas?
I just
man?
don't
What
understand.
happens in Vegas?
Hey,
I didn't see anything.
We were talking about this the other day. I was calling it the social media effect. Things have happened so fast that you just forget about everything that happened a week ago.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everything. Nobody even thinks about that. I can't even think about.
I have
that guy's name
one.
anymore.
There's one like I'm not on Facebook, but I'm on Instagram, and there's one page that I follow that like constantly posts about like mass shootings and
Oh, the Mothers Against.
moms demand action.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it is like
sad
every
shit.
anniversary of everything they bring it up every time there's an accidental.
There's
Like
a kid
it's
getting
just
shot just discharging guns every single day.
Yeah.
Oh,
Every
yeah.
single day.
constant.
It blows my mind that there are not just enough people in the world that would choose to start something like this. Like, imagine starting something like this where like we're gonna kill a shitload of people just because I think I'm right. Okay, I feel like that in and of itself is there's a very small amount of people in the world that would do that. But the amount of people that are like, you know what, you know what's going on. I'm gonna whatever you need, I'm gonna do it for you. What the fuck, man? Like,
People have no, what is it?
You
Not
mean-
leadership,
When you
but
feel helpless.
they need some sort of voice that because they have nothing. They need a voice.
but that's what I'm saying. If
Not
you-
not only have their own kind of
They feel useless.
their own meaning and their own intentions or whatever, but also draw other people into it. Is that what you're saying?
yeah,
It's crazy how somebody can get so many people to follow them
That's
and
what
do
I'm
that
saying.
kind of
Like
stuff. Yeah.
that
Though.
idea in and of itself
If
is
you
fucking
think about, like-
wackadoodle.
It is.
Okay.
You can't make a difference in the world by yourself, right? Like you're not going to make a difference.
Right.
But if you think about time travel, though, one person. Well, think about time
Naturally.
travel. I don't want to go back in time and fuck something up, and then that's just a chain of events. It's just going to fuck everything else up.
But right about
But
right
that's-
now, we're in time right now. Anything we do can fuck
Exactly.
things up.
But
So
that's
you
an
can make a
awareness.
difference.
See, that's an awareness. That's an awareness that you have that I feel like anybody who believes that their way is the right way, no matter what, and they're going to get other people to believe the exact same thing. I don't think they have an awareness of the effect they have on those people, let alone the people in their lives.
And honestly, right up until that point, it's fine. I'm okay with all of that. I think I'm right. You know, everything you just said, I think I'm right. I want people to believe that I'm right. I want other people to think the same way. That's fine. I'm okay with all of that. It's when people are like, I think I'm right. You don't think I'm right? I'm going to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
When do you? But it just blows my mind that there are people out there that can go from, hey, let's be together, let's do this something for good. Like how and where do you make the jump to being like, you're gonna go? I'm telling you, Charles Manson, you're gonna go out and fucking murder that person right now.
That's not one person. That's an echo chamber. That's an echo chamber. That's you thinking that I'm right, and now I'm looking at you for guidance, and you're throwing your opinion in, and now we're bouncing this back off each other.
Right, but when do you, at what point do you give up your own responsibility for yourself? Yeah, you think you're right, and I believe that you're right. Mm-hmm. You think this person needs to die, so I'm okay with killing that person.
You give up your own moral compass.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
they all believe in the greater good.
The greater good, exactly.
For the greater good.
For the greater good. Shaun of the... Hot Fuzz. Yes, Hot Fuzz. I love those movies. I love those guys.
Oh, God,
they're great.
L. Ron Hubbard. Can you edit that and
Little
make me
Hubbard
sound smart, like I can say his name?
Hubbard.
L. Ron Hubbard.
You're gonna be like that guy on Facebook. It's like, hey, put me next to like a dolphin or something like that.
And then you're gonna be like L. Ron Hubbard.
Make it look like I'm as tall as my friend, and then he like shrinks her down.
Right.
They say he pretty much went insane towards the end because he kind of projected this standard for how you're supposed to live, and when his thoughts and his maybe morals and stuff didn't add up to that, he started to kind of go crazy.
Huh.
There was another guy who came in and took
story?
advantage of it. Oh, the dog thing? Well, you get punished when you don't do certain things. You had to
first of
clean
all,
the boat.
the basis...
The dog had to clean the boat. They gave him the embarrassment hat and made him clean the boat.
I've had an embarrassment hat.
I think we've all been there.
The basis of Scientology is they tell you that when anything good that's happening in your life is due to Scientology, what studying and the belief in it. Anything bad that happens to you is because of your own issues, because you're own fucked up in
Does Scientology give science a bad name?
It's really not about science.
I don't think
that's what I mean, though.
Because he calls himself a science fiction writer. So what it ends up in is all kinds of aliens and other planets and all this kind of stuff that everybody
aliens
at the end is like,
man.
that's...
Yeah, explain the origins of it, because it's crazy.
Xenu, baby.
Xenu, yeah.
Right.
I can make you believe in aliens right now.
Is this like Rick and Morty? Because I love Rick and Morty.
I do love Rick and Morty. I got Hulu.
fucking love Rick and Morty.
You don't like Rick and Morty?
I never really watched it, but he quotes it daily.
I pay for Hulu specifically because Rick and Morty is on Hulu.
I pay for Hulu for Bob's Burgers.
Haven't watched it.
Those are the only two shows they have, so that's kind of funny.
The only good ones.
Hulu is fucking garbage.
Yeah, they have Rick and Morty.
Hulu
and
has
Bob's
a cult
Burgers.
following, and we need to end them.
Yeah, huh.
Wait, what'd you ask me?
I don't know.
I asked you to
one of the
explain
two.
what he says the origin of human life and everything is, because it's crazy.
I don't know if I can remember it all.
I know it.
So he was a science fiction writer, so a lot of his stuff is really based in like aliens and other stuff like that. And then I've seen interviews with people who have reached that OT8, which is like the highest level you can get to in Scientology.
Oh boy.
And they sit down and they say, you've lived all these past lives and you have all these like alien beings attached to you that are causing you problems.
I can tell you exactly what it is.
What? Tell me. Because I don't...
This is ruining a lot of people who are paying a lot of money. But this alien ship brought a bunch of souls to Earth.
There's a South Park episode.
I was just thinking about it.
They drop all the souls in a volcano, right?
Naturally. Where else would you drop souls?
Right. Then the volcano erupts and all the
Joe
souls
was
have
up
nowhere
there.
to
He's
go.
like, not the volcano again.
And they all become attached to
they
humans.
get stuck on humans.
He'll get it.
And that's where all these past
because
lives
these
come from.
aliens were like banished from
They were thrown
their
out, yeah.
planet.
And
yeah.
Xena was, I think it was like a plane a spaceship that looked a lot like a plane, a jet plane, if I remember right.
Well, he bases everything on his experience in like the
look
Navy.
at the plane.
Huh.
It's a plane.
So yeah, that's it. That's Scientology.
So these
That's
people
all it
that
is.
have paid like $500,000 to go into a room
Hey,
with
Roger,
like
you
a
want this
briefcase that has the the secret to life and
which
whatever,
is just his stupid fictional story.
and hear this story.
Yeah.
And are supposed to draw, like where all the aliens are on their beings and how they can get rid of them and all this stuff. Go, oh shit, I've dedicated my life to this.
You
I'm
have
out.
to accept it.
I'm out. No, most of them
They
go,
leave?
I'm out.
I've heard of a lot of people who go in there, they spend the money, and once they see what it is, they're like, I have to believe it because I spent all this money. I don't have a fucking voice at this point.
I'm sure there's a percentage that do, but
It just blows my like. I feel like as an individual, like I know who I am, right?
Yeah, you're an alien.
Yeah, obviously. So
We are
it
aliens.
It just blows my mind. At some point, it blows my mind that these people, when they hit whatever point they hit, that they're not just like, wow, this is fucking bullshit.
So we got the
they
www
usually
dot
do, but they're so
at
far
our
into
disposal.
At
Why
that
do
point.
people pay for this? If you could just.
Because you're promised that you're going to get enlightenment.
it. Well, first
But I
of
can
all,
I can practice Christianity in my basement.
right. First of all, what usually happens is when you first get into it, you take these little $25, $35 courses about personal finance, relationships, how to do well in an interview.
Can I just
how
stop
to,
for just a
I
second?
kind of want to do
Personal
this.
personal finance, you're spending $35 on a course. Yeah, you're already screwed up. You
Right,
fucked
that
up
you can
already.
learn on the
Especially
internet
when you're
for
eventually
free.
going to be
I
spending
mean-
thousands
Are you
and
joking?
thousands of dollars to.
if you don't know how to balance your checkbook,
Fine.
then
Step 1,
35
do not get into a pyramid scheme.
$35.
Step 2,
Right.
do not get into a cult.
Oh, is it?
So they have
Nailed it.
so they have these like kind of basic courses. People right off the street or whatever that are like, hey, come in and check out Scientology.
Do they have
And-
pottery?
Probably
I'd love to take
Costs
pottery.
$55.
the spinny kind, because that's the kind I want to take.
Yeah,
Like
with the wheel.
the wheel.
Yeah.
Treadle.
I kind of want to join Scientology now.
Okay, so I
just
don't
wanna
know
make-
if they have
It
that.
sounds like a fun week. Like
I
summer
just want to
camp.
make
Right?
pottery.
I think you can go to like
Science fiction stories?
It's like
Get to go
so
on a
far,
boat?
everything you've told us is shit school should teach us.
Right.
Or parents.
exactly. But here's the
Like,
thing. Okay,
here's how to do stocks.
multi
I don't care about parent. I'm not even saying the word right now because I can't.
But we all know it's fine.
Melanoma.
multi-level.
Thin arm.
This
Melanoma.
is multi-level. First of all, people that first come in off the street obviously have issues they are trying to deal with. These initial right.
Here.
And like I said, it's kind of like counseling. It's these initial kind of like, we can help you with these basic kinds of things. That's how they first get into it. People that are born into it, that are brought into when they're 8, 9 years old, this is all they know. A lot of them don't have past junior high education. Their education is Scientology. They're told, you are better than everybody else because you are in this group. You have one
Fucking
up
Tom
on
Cruise.
everybody else because you are in this group. Like Leah Remini, perfect example of that.
Leah Remini, I don't know who that is.
Me either.
King of
You
Queens.
look so confident.
I like her because she's kind of spunky.
Yeah.
You know what
She's sassy.
I can't
Sassy.
Sassy.
I cannot stand her
Sassy.
voice.
Yeah.
So
I think she
she
she's
was
a-
born into it.
Who's
Brought into
Jackson?
well, not born into it. She was brought into it when she was like 11 years old. So
Every time you say that, I think of Maybelline commercials.
Maybe she's born with it.
Maybe she's born with it.
Maybe
Maybe
it's
it's Scientology.
God, that's amazing.
That needs to be their recruiting tool right there.
It does
I mean,
too.
Right.
So she was brought into it when she was like 11. So at 11 years old, you're told you're better than other people because you're in this group. You are helping to save the world. You're contributing to society in a way that not other people are doing. You know what I mean? Which, doesn't that sound great to any
Oh yeah.
teenager?
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, you're impressionable at that age.
Right.
So like,
So even people off the street that come into like the Scientology centers, you have to be, to get into this, you have to be in a place where you feel like you have no purpose.
Right, and
Where
you're
you
looking
feel
for
like
something.
you don't have direction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to me, that makes complete sense. If you're in that place in your life and it happens that comes along to you right at that time, that makes complete sense to me.
Which
You know
is
what I
cults
mean?
in general, you know, like that's how they
Exactly,
get people.
Exactly.
You know, they study serial killers and they study all these different types of people for certain traits. Like, you know, when they look at the brain of a serial killer and they, you know, like he has this, this, and this. Oh, he'd be a serial killer. This. I wonder why nobody has started testing people for like the cult follower, you know, part of their brain. Like this part of your brain does this, this, and this. So like, if someone was like, "Hey, join my cult," you'd be like, "Fuck yeah, sounds like a great idea."
I think that's how a lot of people get into like Nazi groups and stuff.
That's
like
what I'm
that.
saying. Like, it's got to be
Yeah.
a part of their brain. It's got to be a part of their, maybe not just.
There's a lot of those people right now.
Yeah.
Not only people looking for direction, but people who are like, I would call them false prophets almost, who promise you that they have the answer. Jordan Peterson, you sick fuck.
Right,
Sorry.
but there's a certain population of people that like when they hear that shit, they're like, yes,
Yeah.
yes, and I understand why nobody
And
is studying those types of people.
Not
know what's
only do I
weird?
think it's a population, I think it's an age
Yeah.
too. It's a certain age where you are between being influenced by your parents and kind of like your primary,
Caregivers.
your high school,
Scholars.
whatever, that kind of thing, and have not yet found kind of like your direction in life. And that is like a very impressionable kind of like, if somebody is telling you something that sounds good to you, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's really easy to get into it.
And I feel like they draw you in with
Told you
positive
no.
stuff before they get to the stuff where they're scaring you to leave, you know?
I think that's kind of across the board as far as like
Yeah.
even
There it is. There it is. Oh, it's in, baby. It's
That one was
in.
crisp.
It was.
I feel
Someone
like
out there's jerking off to this.
It's gonna be me as soon as you post it.
I don't think this one's ripe yet. Smell it.
Smell it.
I went in for it. I'm like, hey, sure.
Children of God,
The people that are born into it for sure, because like
the Children of God stuff, that was like the message from the leader was telling young girls like, use what you have, use like your sexuality to kind of like control men and like get what you want, and if you're
Sounds like
told that
America.
So-
if
and
you're
some
told
people-
that from such a young age,
Yeah.
that's the norm for you.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
well,
you
and
can't-
some
you
people
can't
come to
turn
that
that off now.
naturally. Like, I dated a girl in high school that was just like that, and I don't think she was in a cult. But, like, legitimately, like, there are some people that are just naturally come to that.
There's
cycle.
other things that can influence.
The other
But-
thing about them is when they start out, their messages aren't overly complicated and they're not overly sinister. They're usually simple messages repackaged in a way that maybe sounds slightly different than before, but they are the same message that everybody gives out all of the time. Again, I'm going to bring up Jordan P. Peterson. I don't even know if that's his middle
His
initial.
middle name's Pete.
Yeah, it's P.
Is
not
this
like
a Texas
P.
Chainsaw reference? I'm gonna
No,
flip the table.
absolutely not.
Okay.
But
Do
it's
you know
not.
who
If you-
Jordan Peterson is?
No.
Do you
But they
know
are
who
in a
Jordan
meat-eating
Peterson?
cult.
Nope.
So
A
they're-
meat-eating cult.
Yes.
Now that's something I can
Smoked
get
steak?
behind.
No, human eating. Sorry,
Oh.
human eating cult.
Human-eating cult.
Yes.
Okay, I would like to
No, I
redact
don't.
All right, I'll
my
tell you guys who
previous
Jordan
statement.
Peterson is.
I'm gonna have to look him up.
Jordan
I don't know about
Peterson
There's
this.
all kinds
got
of
famous because
You might be
First of
related.
all, you enjoyed your
I
Jordan
did.
Peterson
I actually went through a Proud Boys phase too.
for a certain amount of time
So,
Excuse me?
until
Oh,
thanks, Nick.
Leatherman.
until
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, the
yo,
Leatherman.
he sounds like he's kind of bullshit. And
Yeah,
we were
okay,
like,
so
what?
his initial message, I'll start from the beginning.
Can we watch InfoWars?
No.
I would love it.
InfoWars?
I don't like the chemicals in the water that make the freaking frogs gay.
Perfect.
Holy shit!
Alright, so we watch
Will
InfoWars.
you fight for your life?
That was InfoWars.
Wow.
I don't know what you're talking about, but it's great.
That's InfoWars.
Jordan
It's the
Peterson
Reapers.
got famous because Canada said they were going to start fining people for
Not buying
u-
maple syrup.
Right, and also not using proper pronouns. Not proper, like, ones that were mandatory, but, like, if somebody asked you, please don't be a dick to me,
Bless
and you were
your
like,
heart.
fuck you, I'm going to be a dick to you because
my
it's
last
my
drink.
right. They're like, we're going
You're
to fine
driving.
you then. Well, Peterson went to court and said, I'm not going to jail for that. And they're
Would you
like,
like this?
nobody said
Can I
that.
have a beer?
They go, nobody
Do you
said
want this?
that you're
I'll have a
going
beer.
to jail. All they said was that you are going to get a fine if in public
Oh my God, I have
you
so
purposely insult somebody. And he's like, that's free speech,
I'm a
free speech. And you're like, just stop being dicks. He's like, no, I could be a dick, free speech. And everybody's like, yeah, he's awesome. So then he came out with this stupid thing, which I bought into because I have no leadership in my life, where he said, before you go solving the problems of the world, you need to clean your room. And what he meant by that was fix your own life before you try to fix anything else.
Yeah,
Now,
makes
at
sense.
first that sounded good,
Yeah.
but then nobody's ever going to solve anything ever. Ever. His point was don't ever try to solve anything until you are completely figured out. No one ever has themselves completely figured out.
No, I would agree with that.
Problems are always going to arise.
Well, at the same time, I disagree with that. Because, like,
It's
I know who I am,
right.
right?
So do you want to go start saving the world now?
No, because tomorrow there's going to be another challenge, and
Right.
you need to be prepared for that and open to deal with that.
Right, but as long as you're confident in who you are as a person, like...
To finish off with Jordan Peterson, the scary thing about him is
Do you think
So,
he's a cult?
Did you guys?
he wanted.
did you
That's
get
what I was
into
about to
Farmville?
say. I was literally about to say this. Right before he got all those diseases I told you about, which, by the way,
He's dying.
he's dying. He had plans to start a church. First, he was talking about all these different Christian symbologies in the Bible, and people were like, not real sure they were still on board, but they were like, well, he did say clean my room, and that makes sense, so I guess I'll listen to what he has to say about Christianity, which he claims is not religious. He's just saying it for storytelling purposes. Then he goes, I'm going to start a church. Then he got the coronavirus, so fuck him.
Organized religion drives me nuts, I have to say.
Right before he got sick, he thought his wife could see the future,
So he's a crazy...
and thought he was the only person who could save the world. And again, people were like, okay.
So he's a crazy.
Yeah, but luckily his daughter got coronavirus while they put him in a coma in Russia on purpose to get him off of drugs cold turkey. So he was even sicker when they gave him the coronavirus than most people are.
So he's a
He's
crazy.
dead. He's about dead.
Yeah, okay.
Lindsay, what do you think about organized
Organized
religion?
religion. I mean,
Adult over here.
I'm not a fan.
I'm not.
I mean,
I'm not
I think
either.
it's quite cult-like in general, really, but not exactly. You know, it's not a cult exactly, but
And if you look up cults, the people that study this shit are like cults and religion are basically the same exact thing. So like that makes sense.
right.
Money's the root of all evil.
Like I
Pass an
think,
offering plate.
like
I'm
pretty much
pointing
all
audio
religions are
podcast.
like this way is right and everything else is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that's a very closed-minded way to live, and nobody knows anything for sure.
No,
and
this
people
is-
think they do.
Because this is my show, I'm going to stick my pitchfork in the ground.
If you're for organized religion, you're about to get
No,
beat
no,
up by
no,
four
no,
people.
Nope.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
for the
I'm
record,
for it.
I'm agnostic.
Me too.
You are.
Atheist.
I'm agnostic.
Christian. I'm for a religion.
Mhm.
My parents' church is awesome. Inside the building, not so much outside. They're good people.
Right on.
So how
Real
many
good
of you guys
people.
know the story of how the Ten Commandments came?
Negative.
Oh,
You know that
God.
Moses went up and got them, right?
Yeah.
That's the story.
Moses
you know.
went up and got the Ten Commandments.
Right, from the Mount
From Mount-
Zion.
Mount Cesspool.
Sinai?
That's not Cesspool, Zion. Okay, so the story that they tell you in church is that he went up, got them, and that was it, right?
Right.
There is, because you brought up that there were several books in the Bible that were left out.
Yeah.
The entire story goes like this. They wandered around for a really long time.
Yeah, like 70 years or something.
Something
The Jews,
ridiculous.
right?
40 years.
Yeah,
40
it turns
years.
out if you look at a map, they could have made it from where they were going to where they came from,
In like,
In like
a couple
4
days. Yeah.
but it took them
It's
40
true,
years
it's
instead.
true.
But
Nobody wanted to stop and
so
ask for
he went up
directions.
on the mountain.
They were swinging backwards up the Nile.
He went up on the mountain,
Yeah.
and his
Stream.
followers
Makes
didn't know where he was for a really long time.
Moses.
Yeah, Moses was up there forever. And they're like, he's not coming fucking down. They just start fucking. They just start fucking all over the place. They start making jewelry and shit. Then they're like, let's take this jewelry and make statues of other gods. Yeah. So they start doing that.
I was good with the
he
fucking part,
comes
but I'm
down.
not into
He comes
jewelry.
down with
Yeah,
these
fuck
2
jewelry.
tablets.
Fuck jewelry.
He sees all these statues and all these people fucking, and he drops them because he's all pissed off. And God's like,
Didn't God
here's
say go forth and multiply?
Here's your punishment. Go over there where that other village is and murder all those people. Then come back here and we're going to do this all over again.
Right?
Huh.
So they go to another village. They kill 750,000 people. Come back. And Moses is like, now this time don't you fucking make those statues again, you motherfuckers. goes up again. The first 10 commandments had to do with things like eating weird things and weird cloth and stuff like that.
A lot of
This time, when he came back down, he had
From the mountain.
It was mostly things about God. If you read the first 5 commandments, they're like, don't worship another god, don't make any more statues of other god, don't use my name in vain, shit like that. Just shit about, like, because God was apparently really pissed that they made statues, and he's like, get back up here. I want to make sure they really know not to make statues.
God was pissed or Moses was
God
pissed?
and Moses was pissed.
Okay.
Because apparently, like...
Moses was pissed for
talked
God.
to
I
Moses.
mean...
There aren't a lot of people.
Like,
in the
that's my
Bible
boo.
God talked
You're gonna piss off my boo.
What's really crazy is that these new commandments that he dropped and broke, and then went up and got new ones and came back down, it's really similar to Joseph Smith's story, where his plates were broken.
Utah!
He just looked into a hat and read God's word that only he could see, and somebody
Naturally.
else wrote them down, and they were like, well, I mean, he's the only one that can see him, so I guess they must be God's word.
Oh my God,
Somebody
these
stole
Oh,
his
Jesus.
original writings from him, so he
We're
would have...
all Mormons.
Somebody stole Joseph Smith's original writings so that he would have to recite them all over again to prove that God told him them from the hat. But he said, God's mad at you for stealing them, and he's going to give me new ones. And they're like, oh, shit, I'm
well,
sorry.
shit.
All right.
Rats.
It's the
Yeah.
same. It's the same goddamn thing over and over and over and over and over again.
You know what a parable is?
Yes.
Earthly story with a heavenly meaning.
Oh, I thought you meant parabola from mathematics.
No, parable.
Parable.
So in the Bible, they talk about parables. There's a bunch of them. I'm not going to give any examples.
Sounds right.
It's an earthly story with a heavenly meaning.
Earthly story with a heavenly meaning.
So you're
Like
supposed
clean your room. That's
yes, yes.
What okay, all right.
So you're supposed to take the Bible and decipher it to make sense to you, and like Jesus getting crucified. Was that a parable? Was that an earthly story with a heavenly meaning? Maybe he didn't actually get crucified. Maybe it was just. Maybe it was they put it in our terms so we would understand it. How do you know what's supposed
That's
to
a
be
lot what I
what?
think the Bible is. I think it's a bunch of
You don't have a
stories
fucking
that
clue.
somebody made up.
Jesus
and
walked on water.
maybe-
Did he really? Or was it really fucking cold out and he was in the middle of fucking Antarctica and he's walking on ice?
He's in the middle of Antarctica.
You have no fucking clue.
Middle East to Antarctica. Back to the Middle
It's
East.
a short
Hey,
walk. It's a short walk. And them sandals, you make great
They
ties.
have big sails in their boats, man.
We
That-
forget
catch
he's
all the
Jesus.
wind.
He can
Catch
go
all the
fucking
wind.
wherever he wants.
Yeah, I
whenever
mean,
wants.
he can walk on water.
Yeah.
He can walk on across the ocean to get to Antarctica
jets
to
in those
prove he can
sandals.
walk on water.
Huh.
But no, you have no fucking clue.
My problem with
Well-
interpreting the Bible stories for meaning for your own is like some of these stories are ultra violent, and I don't understand how you can interpret those stories as morals.
You can interpret anything you want
If you do, you end up with a cult.
into anything
Yeah.
you
Well,
want.
you start with a cult. You end up with religion.
14 of them are bought.
Let that sink in.
You can interpret anything to
I'm
anything.
True
sorry,
story.
I blacked out there for a second.
And you
You
know-
got 2 fucking red apple samples.
And the blueberry.
Listen, this is why you crashed on the couch that night. You remember that night?
No, I don't remember that night.
You remember me picking you up off the couch. I
remember
remember
that.
that.
Yeah.
So,
That was a
hey,
good night.
Very
you know,
romantic.
unless we're counting Scientology, Christianity is really the world's newest major religion. Because if you go way back, like Hinduism was the first one, you know.
The newest one
Yeah.
that stuck.
Right.
The newest one
Yeah.
that stuck.
Christianity stole a lot of stuff from earlier religions too. There was
Yeah.
another
So did
story of an there was
Muslims.
another story of a
Well,
guy who
a
was
lot of them
raised
stole
from the
from
dead.
Christianity, though.
And all of the Christian holidays are stolen from like pagan holidays.
Yeah, I was
Right.
yeah, for sure. Huh.
I'm down with some Buddhism though.
Juggalos, baby.
All right.
If
I'm done.
If I
Nope.
did-
Nah, shut up. This is gonna be a good episode. I'm.
You have
yeah.
a lot of faith in my editing abilities, don't
Right?
you?
I know. I do have a lot of faith in
I
your
do
editing
too.
ability.
Listen, you better fucking plug in
You
the.
make us sound smart.
Yeah, you better plug in cable guys.
Jesus Christ! All right.
You at least twice. No, we're in it.
I'm trying to ease us out of
Yeah.
here.
All right, and that's it. Farmville.
I have to
Again,
say, too,
let me
I'm
tell
waiting till
everybody
we're
where
done.
you can find the show, Jay.
No,
the pod,
Farmville.
the flick the bean, man. It's like-
Facebook.farmville.com
Did you say
/.
flip the bean?
John.
Flick the bean.
Click the bean.
All right.
Click
This
the
has
bean.
been
Yeah,
so
fuck it.
chaotic.
Where is the bean?
Everyone knows where the
We know
bean's
where the
at.
bean is.
We know where the
that's-
bean is.
That's not the problem.
That's not the problem.
So I showered him a couple
Jeez.
Anyway, YouTube
I love
and
Lamb.
what's the S one?
Spotify.
Spotify.
Podbean, and that's it. Oh, makesensejohn@gmail.com if you want to write us, but I don't read your fucking emails. Fuck you. Bite it.